welcome to lesson 41. This is called adding and subtracting fractions with common denominators. Now we are going to be adding fractions and we're also going to be adding mixed numbers. So we remember what mixed numbers are. They are a mix between a whole number and a fraction. So for example 1, we're going to go ahead and start out with this. It's easiest to be able to understand and comprehend. There we go. It's easy to understand and to comprehend whenever we see the visuals. So I have my fourth of a magnet here. So I have 2 of them here. So this represents 2/4 right here, which I wrote down below. And I'm adding 1 more fourth. Now the temptation, I know, with some 5th graders that I've seen in the past is 2 plus 1 is 3, 4 plus 4 is 8, so 3/8 is my answer. 3/8 would be extremely incorrect. I could actually show you what 3/8 would look like. And it would look like this, which is very much smaller than adding 2/4 plus 1/4. This would be 3/8. And I know that's not my answer because it's going to be larger. This is actually smaller than 2/4. So the way that we need to understand this is that I have 2/4 here plus 1/4. I'm going to actually leave the denominators alone. I'm just going to leave the denominators like they are. Because when I put these 3 together, I now have how many? I now have 3/4. 1/4 plus 2/4 and 3/4. So there you go. You leave the denominators alone, you just simply add the numerators. And that is wise because you have the picture. If I were to add both numerator and denominator, the value would not be the same as it is supposed to be. My sum would not be correct. So my final answer would indeed be 3/4. Now example 2, same thing. We're still leaving the denominators alone even though it's subtracting. I'm starting out with 7/10 right here, and I'm going to take away, well, they're all kind of broken apart so I can't take them all away at once, but I'm going to take away 4 of them. So I have 7/10 here and I'm going to take away 4 of them. So let's see. There's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I'm going to take these away and I am left with this much. That would be 3/10, not 3/0. So that would be the difference of 7/10 minus 4/10 is 3/10. Again, when I add and subtract fractions, I leave the denominator alone. Now, looking back at, let's see, example 3. This is adding mixed numbers. So I now have 1 and 1/4 right here, and I'm actually going to steal these 2/4 so that I can use them for my next mixed number. I did color over this whole. This was actually half, but I colored over it so that it does represent 1 whole still. It is the same size. So I have 1 whole plus another whole, and 1/4 plus 2/4. So what I always say is you add whole numbers with whole numbers, you add fractions with fractions. Again, you add whole numbers plus your whole number, and you add your fractions with your fractions. So simply stated, I'm going to add 1 plus 1, which all of you know is 2. Then I add my fraction plus my fraction, just like I did up here, 2/4 plus 1/4, exact same thing. 1/4 plus 2/4 is still 3/4. So that's all I have to do to add it. It's not very difficult. All of us know how to add, and all you need to remember is you add your whole number plus your whole number. So I'm not adding 1 plus 2 here and 1 plus another 2 here. I'm not going to crisscross them. I keep them all simply organized. There's my whole number, and there's my whole number. There's my fraction, and there's my other fraction. I add each separate part together to create a mixed number. Would be 2 and 3/4. Now, for example 4, I want you to go ahead and try this. I don't even have the visual up, but you have 2 and 1/2 minus 1 and 1/2. Same thing with adding mixed numbers. You'd subtract whole number minus whole number, fraction minus fraction. Why don't you go ahead and try that in your spiral? And the difference, let's see, I have 2 minus 1, which is 1. And I have a half minus a half. If I have half of a pizza and somebody eats the other half of the pizza, how much do I have left? 0. So I actually don't even have a fraction left. My answer is simply 1. Very simple. You just have to, don't overthink the process sometimes, because whenever you have a half minus a half, or if I have 3/4 minus 3/4, you're not going to be left with anything, and I don't need to put 0 over 0 or 0 over 2, because that is not a proper fraction or a proper way of writing it. So practice set letters A, B, C, and D. You're adding and subtracting whole number or fractions and mixed numbers. So go ahead and do those in your spiral. We'll go over them in class and check for understanding. Thank you so much for paying attention.